Will this mayor be a good mayor for your industry in New York City?
Listen, I think we don't know. I think what's good for New York tends to be good for tech here. Zohran Mamdani ran on a campaign of making New York affordable. He ran in a campaign that really celebrated a lot of what people love about New York. People love to be out in the streets. So if people want to be here, if young people want to be here, the tech companies will continue to want to be here. And clearly, we heard loud and clear yesterday that a lot of young people want Zohran Mamdani to be mayor. There are a lot of tech workers who voted for him. Of course, that's the bull case, right? The bear case, of course, is that you're going to have someone who is anti-business. I hope that's not the case, but there's so many unknowns right now.
Julie, you said that a lot of the technology industry turned out and voted for him.
Yeah.
Voter turnout was a critical data point overnight. What's your reaction to that data point?
Well, listen, as a practical matter, I think more people voting always better. So we're really glad to see that was the case. And in fact, even as early as the primary months ago, the data were very clear that people who worked in tech were donating a lot of money to Zohran Mamdani's campaign. So it's not a surprise. We can quickly, or easily, I should say, draw a line to understand that a lot of tech workers, young tech workers, did vote for him yesterday. Clearly, so much about Zohran's campaign, I think, resonated with people in the tech industry. It had the flavor of a startup. It really disrupted the status quo of politics in New York. And I think that resonated with a lot of people who work in tech.
Julie, there is always a difference, of course, between policy platform in the context of a campaign and then policy platform when in office. But the consensus seems to be that Mr. Mamdani is in favor of sort of pro-housing revisions to the city's charter, right? Making housing available and more affordable. Technology as a sector tends to have higher pay and perhaps, apply to a higher to middle income earning bracket. Are they really going to be focused on a policy around affordable housing?
Well, I think that's a really great question. And in fact, the organization I run, Tech NYC, put out research with Zillow just maybe a year ago that showed that even people who have high-paying jobs in tech are having a hard time affording housing in New York City. So it is not, when we talk about affordable housing, it runs across the entire spectrum. For so many people, it's unaffordable. And so I think that more housing is better for tech in New York. We've seen the same dynamic in San Francisco, of course, that the need to build more housing. So more people from across the economic spectrum can live here, build their careers here, grow their family here. I'm really incredibly in favor of the pro-housing initiatives that won yesterday.
Is there an opportunity, Julie, for you to work with this mayor and this administration to bring a sort of closer relationship, apologies, between you and the administration?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think the thing I'm most hopeful about is modernizing government efficiency. Zohran Mamdani is a very progressive candidate, now mayor-elect, and progress means government that works better. So we need to unleash technology in New York City government to work better for New Yorkers, but we also will need to be really careful and when we work with his team or sometimes when we disagree with his team to ensure that the tech economy continues to thrive here, that businesses continue to grow here. This is the future of the economy in the world. Obviously, technology is, of course, and needs to also be the future of the economy in New York City. So we have to work together. We have no other choice.
What do you disagree with his team on, and what would you ask Mr. Mamdani to reconsider in terms of policy?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that I don't know what we disagree with necessarily at this point, but I can tell you what we'll be watching for. Again, the use of technology in government, we think that's crucial. And I want to make sure that his team, that the incoming mayor understand that some of that, requires some experimentation and requires being open-minded about new uses of technology. Also, I think there are concerns that I hope don't come to be, but there are some concerns that there's kind of like an anti-business dynamic. We haven't talked about raising taxes. I haven't brought that up because you can't do that without the state. You can't do that without Albany. Obviously, a lot of people in tech would not be excited about more income tax, more corporate tax. So that I'm sure will be an issue that comes up over the next 4 years.
New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, the 111th mayor of New York to be elected, is an avowed democratic socialist. And one of the big stories of this year, 2025, has been the move of key figures in the technology industry to put themselves in close proximity to President Trump and the administration currently in the White House. Are both of those things achievable at the same time, for Mr. Mamdani to have relationships with key figures in your industry at the same time that they try and be close to this president and the Republican Party?
I think that's a really good question, and I think we're going to see. I'd point out that most of the particular tech leaders you're talking about are actually not New Yorkers, but they do run companies that have incredibly large presences in New York City. I hope that Zohran Mamdani and his team fundamentally understand that the future of our city's economy, the future of opportunity for New Yorkers, is inextricably intertwined with the growth of the tech sector here. And if those jobs aren't here, they will go somewhere else. And if those resources aren't here, they will go somewhere else. And I just have to believe, I do believe, that we can find a way to work together to ensure that all New Yorkers have the opportunity to benefit from the growth that technology is bringing to the city.
Let's end that there then, Julie, by asking, what is the one first ask that you have for Mayor-elect Mamdani on behalf of your members and the technology industry in New York City?
I think the first big ask will be to really drill down and figure out how we can find a way to use technology to make New York City government work better for New Yorkers.